What up, though? What up, though? 7 days, and we're back again for another
Uh-oh.
episode of Dominant Effect. Marsh Bishop, we got Mike Ball, and we did have Aaron, but he'll jump back out in a minute, I guess. I don't know what's going on. What's up, everybody? Glad you was able to tune in. We had to work out a few little technical difficulties. Look like we still got a couple of technical difficulties to work out. But hold on, we'll get it back on there. Okay. You on there now, Aaron?
Yep.
Okay. So, like I said, we got another good show for you tonight. Hopefully, we'll be able to put out a lot more information, and we can all just kind of learn together how a lot of this stuff going. But in the meantime, hit that like button. That's what's going to get us on the proper algorithm to where we can get this out to the masses. So we're going to hit it off tonight. We're kind of connecting the dots today between some of the biggest stories happening around the world. So a lot of you know that Iran and Israel remain locked in a little standoff. You got global oil inventories now predicting to hit their lowest levels in decades. South Korea's stock market has just experienced one of the wildest swings in modern history. And you have China and North Korea that's they're strengthening their ties. And many economists now are asking whether these are isolated events or warning signs of something much longer developing between all of these beneath the surface. So the question tonight isn't whether these stories matter. The question is whether they are all connected. So we're going to go through and kind of connect the dots on several of these topics and see where they stand. Is it just coincidence, or is this one of the things that we've been doing and we do most at is kind of connecting the dots to see whether this stuff really adds up or not? So we're going to start with Israel and Iran, and the question that I want to put out there, think about while we're going through this, is this an actual ceasefire or is this an intermission? Because most of the media outlets that we've been looking at are calling the current situation a ceasefire. But the problem with that is that neither side appears to trust each other. So a ceasefire is not. Okay. You have Iran continues to accuse Israel and the U.S. of violating the understanding that was reached during their diplomatic discussions in this quote, quote, ceasefire that doesn't seem to be an actual ceasefire. Um, Israel continues that the operations against Hezbollah and other threats will continue if necessary. Now, they've said the other day that they agreed to stop, but you still see stuff going on, hit and miss throughout. And the United Nations is basically warning that renewing fighting could quickly destabilize this region again. So so um, you got that whole thing going on, and then I figure probably one of the questions would be like this this going on there. Are we witnessing our actual peace, or is it simply just a pause between both sides to basically prepare for the next phase? Um, Now, historically, um, ceasefires in this region led to peace somewhat, and kind of delayed future conflicts. But it's, you know, the thing with Israel and Lebanon and Hezbollah, that's always been back and forth. They've had many ceasefires, and it still end up being the same thing. Now, I've seen some reports where there were um, some of these missiles that was sent over into Lebanon hit a lot of civilian buildings. Um, so they're not just hitting military structure, you have a lot of civilians that's getting unalived right now, which is causing a bigger problem there because this isn't just a strategic thing that you're doing. Now you're getting, men, women, and children, civilians that's actually um, taking a hit here as well. Um, what you got on this, Aaron?
Well, I agree with you. I kind of laugh at the idea of a ceasefire because Iran never stopped shooting. I mean, the last 2 days, they fired on civilian targets and American bases located in Israel, Jordan, Bahrain, and Kuwait. And the media doesn't seem to care if they fire at civilian targets. They just say, well, they shot at civilian targets and that's it. But if America or Israel fires at a civilian target, it's war crimes. It's going to be genocide. It's going to be trials at The Hague for war crimes. It amazes me the double standard that I see going on right now. I mean, UAE and the Saudis want Iran taken out for good. And I'm going to show you something that UAE has. Mike, give me picture 3, please.
Sure. Let me get that up for you. Number 3.
Okay, this is what UAE is getting ready to do. They're getting ready to build a canal across their country. They're going to take the Strait of Hormuz, that threat that Iran has. They're going to take it away from them. And the Saudis have their own plans in place as well. But this is what they're getting ready to start doing themselves. And let me cover a little bit on UAE because that's they're making some major moves in the last month here. And right now, along with the canal project that they're getting ready to start, they want to break away from OPEC, which is now called the GCC. That's the Gulf Coast countries, and they want to flood the market with oil. They've been limited this whole time under OPEC and the GCC as to how much oil they can put in, and it limited them on how much money they was allowed to make. Now, uh, right now, they want to open up to the world markets and sell as much as they can produce. They want to make some money. Now, if they could sell the amount of oil that they want, what is going to happen is it's going to collapse the oil market. It's going to cause prices to drop. Russia don't want that. Saudis don't want that. Uh, Iran definitely don't want it because their value, their money is tied to their oil production. And you know, if they was to pull that off, then there would be a definite military response from Saudi Arabia, which could mean war. Recently, the UAE signed a defense pact with China. Now, originally, UAE was our partner in the Middle East, but the agreement that they signed with the Chinese includes joint military bases that will be run by both UAE and China. China's going to give them advanced weapons transfers. They're going to share intelligence networks, which means UAE will have access to China's satellites as well. Now, the UAE and Saudi Arabia, they both want Iran destroyed once and for all. They want Iran or the competition basically out of the way. Because the United States has not done so, trust is now gone, and the UAE is now saying American security guarantees are no longer sufficient to protect the Gulf. That's the reason why they went and signed a deal with the Chinese, which I always thought China was allies with Iran. So I think that would cause a conflict of interest for China, minimal. UAE right now, China is seeing them as being part, they're going to make them part of the Belt and Road Initiative. If it takes Iran too long to rebuild or the United States takes Iran out, UAE is going to become the backup plan for China in the Belt and Road Initiative. China is currently making $3 trillion a year off the Belt and Road Initiative. They're going to use UAE as both a sea and land trading hub, which means now that Iran could be replaced. UAE will be the backup plan as far as in China's eyes are concerned. So China's not as invested to try to save Iran now. They have a backup plan in place. But I'll stop at that.
Well, real quick,
I'm
since
with.
you guys brought up the. Oh, go ahead, AB.
Go ahead. No,
Okay,
I was just gonna. I was just go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
Sorry, I guess we're on a little lag spike here. All right, so right here, we were talking about the ceasefire real quick, and
Yeah.
you guys were talking about that. I broke this 2 hours ago. I put it on YouTube, put it on Facebook, Instagram. Nonetheless, it said breaking: the ceasefire appears to be over. After today's Situation Room meeting, reports indicate the United States is moving forward with additional military action against Iran, which is true. We're doing active strikes right now.
Right now.
But what's going to happen is there is going to be a little bit of a pause for a chance for a deal to be made within basically a 24-hour notice, within a 24-hour window, if that. And then if there is no agreement, what Trump had said is, I actually put it up here. Trey Yingst of Fox News reports he just spoke to Trump. Trump said Iran called him tonight and asked the U.S. to stop the bombing. Trump said the bombing will stop shortly. He also told Trey Yingst, if Iran doesn't sign a deal, we'll bomb the shit out of them tomorrow night. But I said right here, the situation is rapidly developing, and the next several hours could mark one of the most significant escalations we've seen in this conflict. So that is what, on the regards of the ceasefire is actively happening right now.
Yeah, but they so they're actively bombing right now.
Yep.
And then they supposedly got this call saying for them to stop bombing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So is this one of them things where, like, okay, so we're gonna just start bombing again, and then hopefully we can get them to swing over and do this agreement?
Force them within that time frame, right? Is you're going to bomb the shit out of them real quick, take out a whole bunch of stuff, and force them back to the table. That's his thought process anyways.
It's not going to happen if they don't start
Right.
taking out infrastructure, taking out that power grid and taking out that water. But one thing that the pretense for this escalation starting back up is the fact that they shot down 2 days ago an Apache helicopter that was patrolling the Gulf area. And we used a drone boat. Mike, if you don't mind, put up picture 1, please.
Sure. And by the way, this boat is one of the most badass boats on the market.
Right.
Well, I don't even know if they're on the market,
Yeah.
But yeah.
This is a drone boat. I don't know what the code name for it is. I do know it has a 1,000-mile range, and it made the rescue of the Apache crew in the Strait of Hormuz before the Iranian forces could get there. So that thing must be pretty fast to have covered the distance it covered and got there before the Iranians could.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm trying to go into my history here because I actually pulled up a big thing on that boat earlier. I'll try to find it for us. Oh, here it is. Boom. So real quick, I'm going to share my screen so that we got a little bit extra on it, maybe a name or whatever. Let me take this down and let me present this window. Might as well just leave us here because we're going to go right back into it. Meet the drone boat that just made military history. This is it in action there. On Monday evening, a U.S. Army AH-64 Apache helicopter went down near the Strait of Hormuz off the coast of Oman. Now it's being said that it was taken down by a one-way drone. It was one of those Shahed drones, however you say it, from Iran. Anyways, it does mark though. Here, hold on. First of all, it says the 24-foot Corsair is part of the Task Force 59, the Navy's Bahrain based unit in integrating AI and unmanned systems into our 5th Fleet operations. Now, this is actually the very first time that we've ever seen an unmanned boat to rescue downed aircrew in real world warfare. End quote.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, just wanted to bring that up.
I'm gonna go back just a second. It's something that Aaron was talking about. He was talking about in the UAE and this canal that they were building. Now they're building this canal and to be able to just basically weed out the strait. You don't got to worry about the strait. You can just go through the canal.
This one?
Yes.
Yeah.
So what's stopping Iran from just hitting that spot? Even while they're trying to build it.
Nothing. And they
No,
should
so it
expect that.
right.
That's
So
a
it's an
valid
I
question.
mean, like it's a good idea. Yeah, yeah, it's an idea. Okay, we're gonna cut straight through there. But then they also know on Iran's side, they're thinking, okay, so if
We'll
you
just threaten that
if
spot
you try
too.
to build this canal, then you're gonna cut out our money. So we just keep it from getting built. We just keep hitting it.
Well, that's why that pipeline is, in my opinion, way better of fix. You know, bringing it all the way through, you know, Saudi and splitting off into the Gulf states, and then going actually through Israel. I think that would be the ultimate fuck you to Iran.
Yeah.
That would.
Well, Iran
Now
hit that pipeline. They hit it.
that's what that's what I
Right.
was getting ready to say.
They got
Right.
it back up and running right now, though.
Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to say. So what's stopping them from doing the same thing? It's like you got all these ideas, yes, but you coming out and you telling people what you're doing.
Yes.
So what's
and
stopping
that's-
them from doing it? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Nothing. They can just shoot some missiles over there and hit whatever it is that you got built so far. They can just blow it up because you talking about it. You telling people.
Well, and the
Know what
way
I
that
mean?
you enforce something like anything like a strait, for instance, like what you're seeing above that canal there, all that's being enforced is actually just threatening that you're going to do something, and then use an example of a ship once in a while and dust them with a couple of drones or whatever the case is, and you make an example out of them. And now you've got all the insurance companies backing out. You've got the ship owners that are saying, don't, you know, calling the captain, don't go through there. And it would be the same thing right there because they have a geographical advantage by being right there. I mean, they can have drones launch off at any point, anywhere, and threaten that area. Same thing with ballistics.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. I seen a thing earlier where the UN Secretary General, we lost it for a second. That UN Secretary General was publicly calling for an end to the violence and warning that renewed fighting could derail diplomatic efforts that they were trying to do. Now, you know, of course, Iran still accusing Israel and the U.S. of violating this ceasefire, but and then now they just took it up another notch again with the missile strikes. So, do you actually think that this is just a question, and anyone that's on here listening right now can answer this as well? Do you really think that with us going back and launching some more missiles? I mean, mind you, you're not hitting the power grid, you're not hitting water treatment plants, stuff like that. I mean, they can do it, but you can't because that's actually considered a war crime. That's a humanitarian thing. That's
Absolutely.
the Geneva Convention. You can't do that. But do you think that that's actually going to work? Being the numbers that has came out is basically saying that, you know, Iran really haven't lost what they're reporting that they did. That goes for anyone.
Okay, I would say that I know their Navy's been decimated. Some of the airplanes are hiding in Pakistan right now, but what went up in the air, we shot those down. I don't know what type of helicopters they've got, but as long as you got the IRGC, that's what I would call the equivalent to the SS during Germany, and they're hiding underground. Those are fanatics. As long as you got them hiding with rockets underground, they'll never quit. No matter what happens to the population on the surface, they will never quit. So
Yep.
all Iran has to do is just be able to threaten the strait. They don't have to engage us in open warfare. All they have to do is every now and then chuck some missiles at the strait and keep us shut down.
Yep.
Send some boats out there to drop a few mines or have their submarines out there dropping some mines. As long as they can threaten that strait, they're holding the most valuable real estate right now. And all they have to do is just outlast us, or at least outlast the world economies right now, because they're going to demand something be done about this very soon.
Yeah, AB, I would have to say when it comes to this, I definitely think, will this put pressure on them as a regime? Of course. But are we going to get what we want out of the objectives is truly the question, right? Are we going to get something out of this? Are we going to see some sort of deal? Are we going to see any of that? Probably not. Same thing with what Aaron said. As long as you have the IRGC that's in command, and the regime over there, you're not going to see any type of deal here. You're not going to see, well, maybe a deal, but you're never going to see them lay down their shit and just like willingly give up. You're just not going to see that. They would rather die on their knees. They would rather that shit. You know what I mean? Than to, sign something or whatever that gives the United States some power back.
Right. Well, now since this, just today actually, from Tuesday till today, gas prices here in this area shot up like 32 cents.
And you're about to see it go way even higher than that.
Okay, so now you got this going on. So it's going to shoot up another 25, 30 cents tomorrow.
Well, just today, the market went up $4 just today already. Since this whole me breaking that story 2 hours ago, $4 it's gone up so far. And wait until tomorrow and the next day and the next day. We'll see when the strikes happen. The big strikes in the 24 hours.
Right. See, but that's the thing that we've been getting right now is all this fluctuation.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And that fluctuation going up and down, up and down, up and down clearly shows volatility. You know what I mean? People, they're kind of going with their gut. You know what I mean? Trying to play this as it goes through. But there's going to be a big increase in, like I said, dealing with the gas prices and the food and everything else. Because once one thing goes up, the next thing goes and it follows.
It's a domino effect.
Exactly. And then in addition to that, the U.S. Energy Information Administration, they're now warning that the global oil inventories are on track to hit the lowest levels in decades. A lot of them was talking about, some of them, where they call it, was it tank dry? Tank, is that the term?
I've not.
I forget that.
The oil reserve.
I forget the actual term. But it means when it gets to that level, it means that emergency cushion that they had is basically gone. You know what I mean? So they almost like dry completely. Actually, I seen a report the other day that said that the U.S. can hit that level by the end of July if doesn't anything change between now and then, because we're hitting those critical levels. But if another major conflict like this picks back up, and then you have these the shipping disruptions and all that stuff go on, do these other countries over in Europe and Japan and the Philippines and all these other countries that's having significant losses, do you think that they even have the cushion to even be able to absorb a kind of shock like that? It's like I say, like a lot of this stuff is going on now, and we're doing it. They're saying that they're doing it to try to wedge this deal. But while we're sitting here doing this, a lot of these countries are basically bottoming out. Any suggestion on that?
Well, I say you're 100% right on that. I mean, with them releasing oil reserve and then selling some of it to the world right now, it is running dry. And the only thing that's keeping it from impacting our pockets is the amount that we're releasing domestically to try to keep oil and gasoline prices down low now. We cannot do that indefinitely. And then with overseas markets going on, Fink, the guy that runs BlackRock, he said a while ago that if this war is not over with in 4 weeks, which would be June, or 8 weeks, which is the end of July, that we're going to see a chain reaction collapse of different countries' economies. I'll give you an example of it. On Monday, as soon as the stock market opened, South Korea's stock market was tanking right off the rip. And they had to shut it down within an hour or so of it being open because the bottom had fell out. And it was going to impact their money and everything, which is ended up doing. They tried to turn it back on 2 more times that day. And again, there was the bottom had no end in sight. So they had to totally shut the market down, and it scared the living hell out of everybody. I'll give you an example. You went to bed at midnight the day before, and you had 1 million Korean won in the bank. You're
Right.
thinking that you're a millionaire, but after the end of Monday, that $1 million was only worth $656 US money.
US. Right.
That's how bad the bottom fell out. So these other countries, you got Italy, you got Ireland, you've got Turkey, you've got a lot of countries in Europe. They're not going to be able to take this hit. And to add fuel to the fire, look at the Houthis. Mike, give me picture 4, please.
Sure. Let me cue that up. 4. Here it is.
Yeah. The Houthis just shut down the Bab el-Mandeb Strait this week.
Did
which,
they?
Yeah, which translates to the Gate of Tears in English.
I didn't know that they closed this.
Yeah, they said that they're putting a blockade against Israel because right now you got 15% of the global seaborne economy trade is going through that area. And that's greatly going to affect shale gas. It's going to affect Volvo. It's going to affect Tesla. Any states that are currently trading in gas to the west, it's going to impact. And then those food shipments that also go through there to go to Israel, that's going to have a direct effect on that.
Here's the live right this second marine traffic, and they're going through there right now, so they must have figured out something.
Well, they said any ship that's not aligned with Israel and the United States can still travel. But
well, shit, I can guarantee you that all these ships, I mean, this is a normal shipping lane, what it looks like normally. So I don't know if what's going on with that, but right this second, I mean, it's wide open. This is wide open with every flagship right here. Every single flag going through right this second.
Right. Now give me picture 5, please.
All right. Give me a second. I'm going to pull this down. Picture 5. Boom. Here it is.
Okay. This is the reroute that's been proposed to bypass that. It adds thousands of miles to the route, adds weeks to the journey. And it's going to cost more money, which we will fill in our pockets. Any goods coming through there that comes to us, we're going to have to pay that tax for them being on that sea that much longer. That's going to definitely have an impact on any nation receiving products during this reroute.
And you know what's crazy about that, Aaron, is we've been watching that closely as what you were just talking about, that reroute. Yeah. And we've been watching it on this channel, as you know, just as much on Diamond Effect as I have on my channel. Because I definitely study this and watch it nonstop. But look at the reroute, what you're talking about right here. Yeah. That's the reroute that everyone's talking about. This line that goes down to the, you know, South Africa around the bend. You guys can see that bend where it breaks off over here from Thailand and all that shit, India. And they go right down here. And instead of them going through this strait over here by Yemen, they're going all the way around to deviate from this. And they are already doing that. This has been happening since the start of the war. Most of the shipping, insurance will not allow them to go through that strait over there by the Houthi rebels by Yemen. So they're forced to go all the way down. And that has been happening basically since the start of this shit. So it is interesting to watch.
And I'm going to say this. We predicted that last year when Israel was fighting Hamas in Gaza. We talked about the fact that Iran could shut down the strait and that the Houthis could shut down that Red Sea at that Bab el-Mandeb Strait. And sure enough, it's happening.
Absolutely. So some of I was just punching this up while you was talking. It said some of the countries that were the most vulnerable right now, because of the oil is South Korea, Japan, Taiwan, India, and Germany. Those are the most vulnerable.
In South Korea, which Aaron was just talking about, how the fall of South Korea and their currency just now. Isn't that interesting?
Right. And it says that South Korea has almost no significant domestic oil production. It imports roughly about 80% of its energy. Major manufacturing economy, exports electronics worldwide. If the energy costs rise, the factories have to pay more, consumers pay more, and global technology prices rise. Japan is another one that's another heavy oil importer, and has one of the largest economies on earth, but it also has over $1 trillion of U.S. Treasury that that here recently said that they actually threatened to sell off a lot of it, but then they turned around and changed their mind and said that they're not going to do it. But they did put out the threat that that they may have to sell off some of these treasuries. I mean, but you think if your economy is bottoming out, your stocks is bottoming out, then what are you going to do? Sell.
You're going to sell out. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you definitely go sell off. So like one of the other ones that was the countries that were better positioned was, of course, the U.S., Canada, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Russia. Those were the ones that had a better position because they produced a lot of oil. But just like the U.S., for instance, where we produce a significant amount of oil, but we also sell a lot of this oil. So that's where we're going low. It's the reason why we're going as low as we are now, because we're trying to make up for what's going on over there, and we're selling more over here, but you're also tapping into your reserves to sell it.
That's true.
I mean,
that's true.
So
and hopefully we're selling that Venezuela oil. You know what I mean? When we're doing that, so we're not taking from our reserve. That would be nice.
Yeah, I don't think they're actually doing that yet, because I heard that some of those, one of those huge refineries over there blew up.
Really?
A few weeks ago. Yeah.
Well, I know. Well, China was the one that can that can refine their oil very well, right?
Yeah.
Like the United States was not made to refine their oil. That's why, for the majority, we don't use it for ourselves, because we don't even refine it correctly here. I mean, we do have, I think there's like a handful of refineries down in Texas, like 2, 3, 4 of them that can deal with it. But it's on the infrastructure level. There's no way that we could actually make it viable for us. So we have to sell it.
Well, right now, they're really not going to have a choice, because if you, think about this. So you know that China does have those refineries that can take Venezuelan oil and break it down. And we also know that the U.S. does have those facilities as well. Not as many as China, but we do have them.
Nowhere close, though. Right.
Right. Now, but you also know that China double dipping. So they making deals with Iran. They making deals with Russia. Russia making deals with Iran.
That's the name of their game. That's
right,
their game.
Right. So it's a lot of double dipping going on. So you're going to have to figure out how you're going to be able to do this over here, that you don't need them to do it.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
It takes billions to do that, though. It takes billions and billions to make that happen.
Well, you know what? We give billions and billions away.
I agree.
You know
I'm with you on that. I am with you.
So you need to figure out a way to make this work. You know what I mean? And I think that's been our biggest thing. That's been our biggest Achilles heel right now, is that throughout the years, we have pushed it out, pushed all the manufacturing and all that stuff out to these other nations because it was cheaper for them to do it over there. Wasn't no problems. Now that you have a problem, you know what I
Now
mean?
you're gonna have a problem getting
Now
that,
you got to
that
fix
shit.
right. So you don't have the luxury of being able to, send stuff over to China, send it back here. You need to
Right.
figure out what you need to do right here.
I agree.
mean-
I agree with you 100% on that, by the way.
That's one of our biggest things that we
Downfall.
got going on now. Right. So you're gonna go dry.
It's the
here
major downfalls
just to
of
do
these
that.
other countries. That's the thing with that whole thing, is not being able to be self-sufficient, especially in oil. Okay. That's one thing on an economic thing. This is why, like what AB was saying, why we've been able to withstand such things, because we do have a surplus. Actually, we're the number one kingpins. But because of that, it allows us to be in that position. Most countries are not in that position, right? So, but even us as kingpins, we're still not where we were just discussing about how we should be able to have the infrastructure to actually deal with this, all types of oil. Actually, it shouldn't, it's incredible that we don't already have that kind of infrastructure right now.
Mhm. But then let me ask you this question. I'm pretty sure some of you watching probably didn't ask yourself the same question. Now, you notice that you've been filling your car up with gas and you've been wondering why come it is disappearing so quick. That's because they've been thinning out the gasoline and they've been adding more ethanol to it, so it's been burning faster. So
and I hear also they put bubbles in that shit kind of too, to it runs more, it charges you more and gives you less, kind of thing, and all sorts of stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, but for years though, I mean, they've been telling people that for years. That's why it's never good to, I mean, like, especially like if you down south, well, even anywhere, especially in the summertime when the temperature is up,
right?
Don't fill up your car during the day. Do it early in the
Correct.
morning, do it at night, because if you do it during that time, that's when you get all that foam. If you if you're using the pump, don't click it on all the way full blast and just let
Yes,
it
you put it on the
yourself
first one.
do it. You're gonna get a bunch of foam. So
Yes.
you got to do it. You got to just take your time and just fill it
know,
up.
it's so crazy. That's so crazy that you know that, where you put it on the first click, not the full second click on the pump. You know, you just put it
let
on
it
that
go
first
slow,
one.
and you get all gas. If you speed it up, you're gonna get foam. You fill up during the
Yeah, that's
daytime,
crazy.
you're gonna get foam. You know what I mean? There's tricks to it, but
Totally.
they actually make gas handles that's supposed to be able to cut that out. But they don't. But a lot of these gas stations don't.
Yeah, that's not in the best interest of their money making. You know, they're trying to skim every fucking cent they can. I mean, you see when oil prices go up, they're so quick to bring those prices up on those per gallon, and then all of a sudden shit drops, and you're going, well, why haven't you guys dropped it yet? You know, it's the same shit that was in your tank 2 days ago. That like what is going on here?
Right.
So it's not in the best interest for them financially on a business level.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of things going on right now that, like I said, we don't have the answers to and we can't explain. But what we do know is that with these recent events that's been going on and the inconsistency that we're getting for answers, that we're kind of having to go through and kind of figure it out yourself. Like, okay, you know what I mean? I'm not getting the answer that I'm supposed to get. And you can see if you watch enough of this stuff that goes on, like we watch, you see a lot of inconsistencies. You see a lot of lying being done.
You have to read between the lines for sure. And you have to connect dots.
There's a lot of lying being done. I mean, now you have summertime coming up. And with the summer coming up, you got this gas thing going on. They're already talking about it's going to be record droughts in the U.S. because of the shifting of the El Nino is shifting. So the water is going to be heating up, which is going to make the storms, hurricane season is supposed to be stronger. Those waters that they're talking about is going to be 90 plus degrees, which we know year before last when we got hit with those major hurricanes, especially down here in Florida, it was 92, 93 degrees out in the Caribbean, and them storms just sat there and just fueled themselves, just like it did in the Gulf. You know, they're talking about now what they say up to 6 to 8 major storms, and 3 to 4 major hurricanes is what they're predicting.
Damn.
Now, yeah, that's what they're predicting because of this El Nino switch. They're also talking about heavy storms in the Pacific because
See, I didn't even know anything about this, so this is like super wildly interesting right now.
Right. Now, all of this still comes along when you have the National Weather Center, National Meteorologists Associations. They're although they took major cuts, so they don't have enough meteorologists and storm chasers and stuff like that to even do their job fully. I mean, so you're gonna take a hit there because there's gonna be a lot of storms that's gonna come through here, and it's gonna do a lot of damage. You know what I mean? And your overall warning to know when and where and how this stuff is going to take place is affected because of these cuts that we were already taking. What was the other thing that I seen the other day? Was it me and you talking about that, Aaron? Where they was talking about the 90% unemployment? Was it me and you that was talking about that?
Yeah.
I forget exactly what all it was. I think you was the one that brought it up to me, but I forget exactly what it was.
Let me add one thing to the El Nino, and then I'm going to address that. Everything is so interrelated that you hear El Nino and it means nothing to you because it's the Pacific Ocean warming up. But from what I studied on it just recently, we're looking at the hottest temperatures that we've ever seen inside the United States. What is hot temperatures going to mean? Drought conditions, which means lower food production. And we're already going to see that from the lack of fertilizer. And then they're talking about even wildfires, more wildfires than what we're used to seeing because there's higher temperatures. So you got four or five different natural disasters that can occur, not counting the man-made crisis that has been created in the Middle East. And then going to what you were just saying about the 90%, it was either, I think it was Fink or it was Elon Musk that said once AI becomes fully involved in the world system, with the bots coming out in 2029, between 2029 and 2035, we will eventually see 90% unemployment in the United States due to AI.
Damn.
And what are they going to do with all these people? They sure ain't going to need them.
So do you objectively believe it would be 90%?
Well, I'm not the expert. Those guys are the ones looking at the figures.
Well, Elon I know Musk, that's why I'm asking you.
Yeah, Elon Musk said that AI, once it evolves to from general intelligence to super intelligence, will see us as just an infestation. AI will be the end of mankind. Bronson says it. Elon Musk says it, and he's one of the ones that helped bring it forward. In fact, he's even stepped up that took that head implant. They done gone into production on it that merges the man with the machine. So all this is moving forward, and he admits that it will be the end of mankind in the long run. But yet you're still making it to make money. I mean, when is enough money enough that you don't care about your fellow man? That's the reason why we preach preparedness on here. They don't care nothing about us. unemployment, when it goes up, homelessness is going to go up. And the welfare system will probably collapse under that kind of weight. It ain't built
Absolutely.
for 90%.
Well, that's what
So
I was just about to say. I mean, there's no way that we could survive something like that. Like
no,
as a nation, there's no
it's
way. We
it's going to
can't
be
print
chaos.
money quick enough.
Right. It's going to be total chaos. And people need to understand that these threats are out there. They're coming. And it's up to us. Even if AI doesn't take out 90%, what if it takes out 50% of the jobs?
Even then, yep,
Yeah.
you're right.
So,
Absolutely. And 50% of the jobs, people don't even understand what 50% would look like. I mean,
right.
when we see a 1 or 5% increase per year, that is massive. People
It
don't even
is.
understand that. Right. They don't correlate it to that small percentage, like what actually hurts the rest of society, actually.
Right.
But real quick, we got Carney Vanguard coming in with the 16-month membership, by the way. I very much appreciate
Wow.
you, my man. He says, like, share, and subscribe. W, bro. Yes, make sure that you do those things. And go over to AB on Diamond Effect on his page, by the way. While they speak, I'll put a link in the chat for you guys to go over there. Make sure you guys go subscribe, like over there, and stuff like that. Anyways, that's enough of that.
Yeah, no, not to mention on top of the drought, but a lot of these states right now are having severe water shortages.
Mm-hmm.
I seen a thing the other day was talking about the Hoover Dam may be shutting down because of the low water. A lot of the hydroelectric plants are going to be shutting down because of the water levels being so low that it's not sustainable. So you got people over in Colorado, Utah, different areas like that they're already telling them that you may want to move because of these water shortages. Texas getting hit real bad water shortages. We was talking about West Virginia last week getting hit with water shortages in different areas, but they also getting contaminated water in certain areas. A lot of these wells, these big people that use well water, stuff like that, a lot of that stuff is drying up in a lot of these areas. So with these drought that's coming through, and I mean, it's actually been a drought. Like I said, it's gonna hit in a lot of different areas, not just water, but food, like Aaron was talking about. We already was talking about the crops was already going to take a hit anyway because of the fertilizer being so high, and a lot of these farmers wasn't able to grow as much as they would normally would because of the price of the fertilizer, and they wasn't actually receiving the help that they were normally getting from the government. Now the government did put out a what do you call it? I forget the actual name that they did, but to be able to help the farmers. But a lot of that money went to the bigger farms, the bigger ranches, and
Right, Tyson and shit. Yeah,
right, and it didn't make it down to the little guys.
the normal, right, 100%.
You know, so they're going to take a hit. You know what I mean? And it's just like one thing that goes on, and then it continues to trickle down. You know what I mean? And that's what we're looking at right now. You know what I mean? It seems just by looking at the stuff that's going on now, there's really not a whole lot of help in sight when it comes to that. You know, and so that's why we was talking about these different warning signs that we were talking about. So when we start connecting a lot of this stuff, so you got the oil inventories just failing. You got South Korea volatility. You got debt concerns. You got inflation. You got global uncertainty. Your individual debt that's going on with people using a lot more credit cards. They said a credit card debt right now was sitting over $1 trillion in credit card.
Oh my God.
But it's enough now. Just with that stuff right there, it's not necessarily a crisis, you know, individually. But when you put all that together,
It
raises a
definitely
whole lot of questions there.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And a lot of this economic part that we're talking about, a lot of these economic downturns, they begin with the energy problems, geopolitical tensions. Uh, you got the overall market volatility that we was talking about earlier, and then you have the overall consumer uncertainty because a lot of people are holding on to what they have now. They're not spending as much as they was normally spending. You know,
I'm
everything's
I'm a
going high.
I'm a great example of that. Yeah.
Right. So you getting just the necessities. You know what I mean? I know just at work, like people that was normally there that you see all the time. Now you don't see them that much. You see them once a month. You see them once every 3 weeks, month and a half, whatever. Because people are starting to realize that a lot of these luxury things that you were doing, you got to cut back on. You know what I
Big
mean? You
time.
got to start making the decisions whether you was how before you was filling up your car for 55, $60. Now you fill up your car 110, 120. You know what
I
I
think it
mean?
should be more dramatic than that. I think it should be like, should I downsize my house right now? You know, that's my ideology. I'm someone so much on the I would rather lose everything and be able to rake leaves and be able to pay rent. You know what I mean? Like I would rather that lifestyle than to try to live some sort of high life or something like that at this point. Or and even like a 3 bedroom house is like way excessive for me at this point. You know what I mean? And it used to be what was the standard.
Could I read
So
to you a list of how
please,
Americans are about to be affected?
please
Okay,
Sure,
do.
go ahead.
these are my notes. America's household debt has crossed $18 trillion as of now. Credit card debt is above 1.2 trillion because people are living on buy now and pay later, and it's at record highs. People are borrowing money just to survive week to week right now. Public debt has crossed 34 trillion. Treasury notes sold to the public. Um, the interest, which that's the public borrowings, the treasury notes are sold to public. Interest on the debt, right now, the national debt is 1 trillion a year. US costs of healthcare, education, and homes has exploded where wages have not. Student loans, $1.8 trillion. Small regional banks are collapsing. Commercial real estate is exploding. Corporations cannot afford to refinance at the higher interest rates. And right now, if the Federal Reserve decides to cut rates, inflation is going to be in a runaway. It's going to cost everything's going to go up. It's going to be uncontrollable. And if they decide to raise rates, they're going to damage the markets and unemployment's going to go up. You got 1.5 million Americans that are unemployed and are no longer counted in the system because they've been unemployed to where their benefits have run out. So once your benefits run out, they don't count you anymore. So this is how bad the situation is, even though we're told in the news that everything is going good, everything's wonderful,
Yeah.
nothing to see here. Oh, we have tipped, we fell over the edge, and how hard we hit the bottom depends upon if they can control the collapse.
And then on top of that, Aaron, you know, they were talking about this week about this screw worm that was
Oh God.
that was
I
affecting the
reported
cattle.
on that. Yep.
And you have Canada right now that's banned all cattle from the US from coming to Canada. I mean, that's gonna be a hit. You know what I mean? A lot of these other countries are not gonna be buying cattle. It's gonna take a hit. You know what I mean? And those screw worms doesn't just affect cattle. They affect just about all animals and humans. And it
Mhm.
was I seen the thing that yesterday they were talking about it that these flies basically get into any kind of orifice whatsoever and lay these eggs, and that they have these sharp teeth, and they just eat.
That's exactly what happens. What you just explained.
Right. So they were telling you like don't be walking around outside with like in your bare feet. Don't wear a lot of loose clothing, you know, stuff like that, because it can go in, it can go up in you for real, and lay these eggs, and they just keep eating. You know what I mean? they don't stop. I mean, that's gonna cause a problem. But they was also saying that the reason how this took place is because, once again, a lot of these programs have been defunded that usually took care of stuff like that, that watched out for stuff like this. So, so that's another thing.
That's it right there. That's the screw worm. There it is. That's what it looks like.
Like
That's fucking gross.
Look like something off of Dune, you know.
Ah, it looks like a fish fillet. Anyways,
it kind of looks like a mealworm for real.
yeah,
like
thing
a
looks like
a piece of.
It looks like an uncircumcised dick. You know, I got to do it.
Oh Lord. Okay, so. Oh Lord, I needed a good laugh today. Thanks, Mike.
Gotcha.
Appreciate it. So these are the warning signs. So when you got war, energy, debt, markets, when all that is combined, and before many of these economic downturns start, you got your rising energy costs, you got your market volatility, you got your consumer anxiety. These are all ingredients that's going on in the present day. So that doesn't necessarily mean that a crisis is guaranteed, but it also means that we need to pay real close attention as to what's going on. Because just think, a couple years from now, when people look back at this particular moment in time, they'll say these wasn't just ordinary headlines. You know what I mean? What we're giving out is actually warning signs of a major shift that's underway. Now, like I said, this ain't something that they're telling us. But like I said, you gotta have a little bit of common sense to be able to put this stuff together. You know what I mean? And a lot of times it's not what they're telling you, it's what they're not telling you. That's the biggest thing.
Big time.
Take just a little bit that they're telling you and be able to put a little bit of critical thinking to it and a little bit of research. You find out everything else that you need to know to see that by the time they do actually tell us what's going on, it's going to be too late. So, let me see. We're close to the bottom half of this show, but we promised Aaron every week. Aaron is he's gonna talk about something every week. I'm gonna give him the last part of the show, and he's gonna bring up something and give you a little information about different stuff that you can do now to not only prepare for yourself, your family, you know, to be able to tell somebody else while you're at work and y'all sitting there not doing nothing, y'all just shooting the gab, and you're like, oh yeah, I seen such and such, whatever. I mean, we need to start putting this stuff out. You know what I mean? Like, people really need to start taking this stuff serious because we're on borrowed time right now, whether you realize that's or not. We're really on borrowed time. So, Aaron, I'm gonna give this to you and let you bring up your thing for today.
Yeah, what I want to present to everyone this week is something called an EcoFlow solar generator. It weighs about 27 pounds. It's got plug-in points front and back. On the front side, it has also points where you can plug in your laptops and your phones to charge. You have regular ports, and you also have speed power ports. Let me turn on my light on my phone here. I want you to see this. On the side, right here, this is a EcoFlow Delta 2 model. You want to get a nice Delta. This is your plug-in point to add an extra battery to this. So this unit, the system that I bought, is fully expandable. And that's what you want to look for. It has the ion type battery in it. This is great primary backup power for your medical gear. If you got CPAP machines or something, or you've got power tools you need to run on site, your laptops, you need to run a refrigerator or your freezers. This is a must-have item. Some of the benefits is it's clean energy. There's no fuel that you have to store. You don't have to worry when you run inside. You don't have to worry about inhaling poisonous fumes that could kill you while you're sleeping. You want to buy a system that has solar panels. I'm gonna show you the ones I got here. Let me move my chair back a little bit.
Now, real quick, Aaron, I just wanted to ask a question on that unit. How much does that first unit that you presented, how much does that
Okay.
cost?
Oh, well, you want to buy a whole system.
Okay.
Because you want the solar panels with it. Let me come back to that because I do
Sure.
have the price marked down. Okay. Now, you'll get a carry case and what I bought was, these are 110 watt solar panels. What it does is it folds out and it has like 4 different panels here. I just got 2 showing, but it's got 2 more and it folds out. You lay it out into the sun and it charges. It's putting 110 watts an hour into the unit. Now, what I do recommend is go on Amazon and get you a set of cables. It comes with a 4-foot set, but let's say that you need to use your system. I can run these cables out my door and keep my unit safe inside with me. So if someone jumps the fence and decides they're going to steal something, they can't get my unit. They might get the solar panels, but they're not going to get my unit. Now, what it also comes with, it's a car charger that you can plug into your car or into your ashtray. It also comes with a plug-in that you can plug it in to your main system in your house. Just plug it into any sort of outlet. Let me see here if I can get this up.
Is that just to charge it?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, plugging it into the wall, this will charge up in 50 minutes. In fact, Mike, give me picture number 2, please.
Sure. And while you do that, real quick, someone asked, how long will it last before you need to recharge it?
Okay. That's all going to depend upon how much you're running on it.
Right.
That's going to be your key thing. How many watts? This unit here is probably 18 to 2400 volts. I mean watts. Well, I don't know why I said volts for. You've got with X boost is 2400. AC is 1800. The battery's the LFP battery. It's rated for 4,000 cycles, after which it will maintain 80% of its charge after you done recharge it 4,000 times. So what I like best about this system is its quiet operation. No one knows that you got it. If you live in an apartment, this is ideal. Those plugs that I showed you, this is your main power plug here. This is if you're plugging it into your car charger.
Okay.
Then your solar panels go in down here at the bottom. But let me tell you a little bit more about it. Now,
so here's
go ahead.
Do you want this number 2 now, or do you want to say, okay, there you go.
Yeah, go ahead and put that up. What that is it shows people how fast. This is one of the things that I decided was necessary for me to buy this unit over a Jackery or a Blue Eddy or something like that. The solar market is so competitive that the only way you can stay ahead of the game is to have new products coming out in the pipeline. Where this is a Delta 2 model, there's a Delta 3 out. And then there's going to be new models coming out next year. They're constantly improving. EcoFlow is one of the innovators that are in the industry. Now, as you can see, it takes 56 minutes to recharge if you plug it into your wall. So if you're in your home and the power's out, but like in Cuba where the power might come back on for an hour or so, you can fully charge your unit up just from the wall in 56 minutes. Others take 2 hours or longer to recharge. So I like that fast rechargeability. You can put it into your car and plug it up in your car. This takes 1 hour and 30 minutes to recharge inside your car. On the solar panels alone, 110 watts, you're talking, I believe it's 2 hours to recharge. And you can get stronger rated solar panels, but they cost more money. Now, a good system, and you can find them on EcoFlow's website. You can find them on Amazon and you can find them at Lowe's. I like the EcoFlow website. I like Amazon because both Amazon and EcoFlow offers financing. So you can finance them up to 2 years if you can't afford it. I have bought 2 units so far, gave one to my brother for Christmas
Wow.
with solar panels, and he has not used it yet. He hasn't had to, but when it
Well,
comes
thank God.
time, yeah, when it comes time, I live right next door to him, so I can go over there and hook it up for him if he doesn't know how to do it. But your price wise, you're talking $800 to $1,300 with solar panels, depending upon where you get it from and if you buy it on sale. Now, at the end of this month, I think it's the 22nd to the 25th or 26th. It's like 4 days. Amazon's having their Prime Day. So there's a good chance that you can get it on sale there. Plus, EcoFlow is constantly close to the holidays running sales to where you can get a $2,500 system for probably $1,200. So, and knowing that you can finance it too, that makes it affordable. This unit here is probably the most expensive cost item that a basic budget prepper like myself would have to invest money in. But it weighs 27 pounds. So when you pick this up, it feels like you got a car battery in your hand. So if you're too old and you can't hardly lift, you might want to get a little cart with some wheels that you can set that unit on. But it runs totally quiet. And if it's in the summertime when it's extreme heat and you don't have no air, the unit will not burn out. On the side here, I don't know if you can see it, it has 2 windows here that has fans inside that you can that it runs a fan and it's very quiet and it cools itself down. So you don't have to worry about the unit burning out and a bunch of heat. Like I said, your total AC output's 1,800 watts. Total surge is 2,700 watts. And that's at 120 volts. It's the fastest charging system on the market. I don't think anyone could go wrong. Now, if you prefer Jackery or Blue Eddy or something, that's fine, but get you something. And like I said, it only comes with a 4-foot cord. So don't forget to order the 20-foot cables to run your solar panels to your system.
Well,
Now,
how much do those
the,
cables cost?
well, I showed you that one side window. I can add a spare battery. I've already bought a spare battery. It's the same size as this unit. It sits next to it. It plugs right up to it. That extends the amount of power time too. When I've used it on camping trips and I was running refrigerators and heaters and stuff, I was getting about 6 to 7 hours out of it before it would run empty on me overnight. The thing with these units are, and let's say it's 1,800 watts, you only want to run it at 70 to no more 80% of its capacity. That extends and keeps the life of your battery going. If you keep filling it up and you run it totally out and then you fill it up again and you're running it at the maximum power, you're going to burn your battery life out much sooner. But if you can stay between 70 and 80%, it will run and you'll get the full life out of that battery, which would be years because they give you a 5-year guarantee on the battery. So you're talking plenty of time. And by that time, who knows, things may be back to normal. A law may be reinstilled. All you got to do is just make it through a situation. I can run my TV. I can run my DVD player. I can have Friday night movies if I wanted to. I can have Sunday morning matinee movies at my house with that player to maintain morale in the home. I got a nice stereo system behind me that I can run and listen to music where everybody else is sitting in the dark and listening to gunfire, dogs barking, and people screaming. I mean, this will go a long way. Now, can you live without power? Sure, you can live without power. But if you have the means to acquire a system, why should you want to? Our whole economy is based upon energy. So if you want to keep going and make it through while everybody else is suffering, if you got a gas powered system or a generator, people can hear that. And if they're going to come and ask you, can they borrow it? If you say no, eventually they're going to group up and come and try to take it from you. And if you say you got a good muffler system on it, you got it in your basement where I can't hear it running, you're using the vent from your dryer to run the fumes outside, but you got that mass where I can't smell it. If you got a generator running in your house and I'm standing in your driveway or on your sidewalk, I can feel the vibration in the ground, and I'm smart enough to know you got a generator in that house. Average person may not know that, but if I feel that vibration in the ground, I know you got a generator. But there's no vibrations, there's no sound. This is perfect for apartment dwellers or condominiums because the landlords will not allow you to stockpile fuel on the premises. Perfect backup power system. EcoFlow Delta. Check it out.
W. Now, Aaron cannot hear me right now. So, yeah, see, look, he's about to dip out. Yep, there he goes. Called it, by the way. I called it right when I asked him a question and he rolled right over me. I was like, yeah, he can't hear me right now. Yeah, no, we're good. Good times.
Mm-mm. Yeah, that's good. I mean, that's we've been talking about the generators for a while. Like I said, the one that he has there's a he said 1800.
Yeah.
And you know, like a lot of people say, well, man, that's that's awful expensive. I don't have 1800. You don't really need 1800. You can go on there and you can go on there and do the payments, or you can get you a lower wattage one.
Wait, is it
You need to have-
1800 or 800?
That was 1800 watts AC. It's 800 to 1300 with the 110 watt solar panels.
Oh,
Because you want to buy the whole system. So
As
you're
a
looking,
package.
yeah, it depends upon where you're buying it and if you're buying it on sale or not. But 800 to 1300 is probably what you're going to get for a real good system.
Yeah, I've been looking at different ones. I've been looking at the ones that you were talking about. I looked at some other brands, because I got a huge one out here that that's gas power. So you get one of them big 6,500 watt ones. Run by gas. Of course it'll run everything in your house. But like I said, when something like this goes on, of course, everybody in the neighborhood gonna know that you got it. You ain't bringing that sucker in the house. Everybody be in there. You ain't about to do that. So these here are more as to what you would need. And you notice here recently that a lot of these companies that makes these have been putting a lot more promotions out dealing with these now. And they range, you got some that's 300, 400, 500 watts that you can, you got some 800 watts. You got, they come in all different sizes that you would need. Like I said, you need something. Even if you had something that would just power, some lamps and your TV, or big enough
or to heat up your
keep your refrigerator going, a couple
Right.
little things here and there. So you need something. And having something is always better than nothing.
Yeah. Let me mention one other thing, and I should elaborate a little bit more on that because you just brought it up. Your average refrigerator runs on 300 to 800 watts, depending upon how big it is and if it's got an ice maker and all that stuff on it. Your average deep freeze runs on 200 to 700 and something watts. So let's say I've got a refrigerator that runs on 600 watts, and I've got a deep freeze that runs on 600 watts. That's 1,200 watts of the 1,800 watts that I have available. If I run a lamp and it's got a 100-watt bulb, I add another 100 to it. Now I'm at 1,300 watts. Then I could run.
Is that per day? Per
Yeah.
day you're talking about? Okay.
Well, per hour.
Per
basically.
hour.
Yeah.
Okay. So
because your refrigerator and your deep freeze is going to run for so long and then it's going to cut off. So
right.
You're not running continuous.
Right. You're not continuously running it for 24 hours a day. Right.
But let's say if you was running it, again, 600 on deep freeze, 600 on the refrigerator, 100-watt bulb on one lamp. Now I'm at 1,300 watts. I still got capacity to go up to 1,800, but I don't want to run at full 1,800. So maybe say 1,500 to maybe 1600 watts, so I can stay under what my limit is. So I just look up, and it says on each item or each appliance, what if I want to run a radio? Does the radio, little small radio, does it run on 10 watts? You know, and I just add that to the total, and then I just run wires, or what they call them, power strips, and plug into them and run different lines to different things I have in the house. And I can get information from listening to the radio. I got lights on. I've got different things. I got my refrigerator and freezer running. So until that power comes back on, I'm good to go. And
Yeah,
before somebody,
I would
and
use it basically for like my burner to like make food.
right,
Maybe one lamp. You know what I mean? I wouldn't even use my television or any of that. I would actually charge my iPhone. You know what I mean? That's what I would do out of it.
even your microwave is
That's right.
1,000 to 1,200 watts. So I would unplug stuff when I would plug that microwave up. But before somebody says, well, what you going to do on a cloudy day? I've taken my solar panels outside on a cloudy day. And even though they're rated at 110 watts, I was pulling 70 to 80 watts on a cloudy day.
Wow, that's really good. Even on a cloudy day, you were able
Right.
to reserve still a lot.
And
Yeah,
it's,
Miss Lotus, that's right.
it's free energy. It's cheap. You don't have to go out and buy fuel and stockpile fuel, because you're only going to stockpile gas for 2 years. That's when you put that stable in it. And diesel fuel, you can go much longer on with an additive added to it. But once it starts to get a fishy smell to it, it ain't no good no more. So there's no point. But this, so long as I've got the sun going to come up on a day, I've got power.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
I mean, but even if it's cloudy, you can still use that panel because it still picks
Yeah.
up UV rays.
That's
Right.
right.
Yeah, I'm getting 70 to 80 watts on a cloudy day. So it may take longer than 2 hours to fully charge, but I'm
But
good
you're
to go.
still you still got power. That's
Right.
the point.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then you just have to become disciplined on
How
when
you
and how
use it.
often you're going to use it. Right.
Right.
You can't run the same power stuff that you run now, but you become disciplined and you learn what you can run with it. And I can plug stuff into it and have it running while I got my solar cells outside catching rays, because you have I don't know if you can see it. Let me turn it back on here. Okay. Let me lift it up. Bring it closer to you. Okay. On the monitor, you got the top thing on the right shows your input power, and then the bottom one shows your output power. Both of them are at 0 right now. So I don't have no votes coming in. I don't have nothing coming out. I'm at 99% of 100% of being fully charged.
That's cool. It shows what goes in, what goes out. That's
Right.
actually
So you can monitor it.
super awesome. And it'll show that number if you have your solar panels out
Right.
there. It'll show
Yeah.
how much you're intaking per hour or whatever. Wow, that's great.
And then it shows how much drag. And then when it's showing, let's say if I'm taking in 80 watts because it's a cloudy day, but I've got 500 watts running on it, it will tell you on the screen how many hours you can run before it will drain.
Wow.
So you'll know that too. It's one of the best, easiest, for someone who has no experience, it's one of the easiest systems to learn how to use.
You're going to have to send me the link to that, or wherever you got it from.
Yeah.
Just send it to me, and then I'll put it in the Diamond Effect Facebook group, by the way, for you guys.
I don't know if you can see the name here where it says EcoFlow.
EcoFlow.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's what you look up. They got river models, they got Delta models. Like I said, they got a Delta 3 out now, but that's the company.
Man, we should be
you
getting
wanna look
paid
up.
from this company at this point. We did a whole.
That's what I was
fucking-
getting ready to say.
Yeah, where's my money? Where's my money? Yeah, look, we got people in the chat. Look at this EcoFlow. We got people saying I'm sold. I need it. Yeah, come on. You guys need to sponsor us. All right, so enough of that. Anyways. I made my point.
Right.
But
Right.
but I hope people realize that having power is going to make surviving that much easier when these people of power who don't look at us as being nothing but expendable, we're useless in their eyes. If we want to make it through what's coming, we've got to prepare for ourselves. We can't count on the system because every time the system becomes fractured or gets broken, we're the ones left hanging. But I'm stop at that.
Mhm. Go ahead, take us home, Mike.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I can't thank you guys enough for hanging out with us this evening. It's always been a blast hanging out with us. This panel definitely has a humongous amount of information, and we really do try our best to condense it all down into like an hour. Look, today we ran almost an hour and a half, so that happens once in a while. Listen, man. But listen, also make sure that you guys on each side of each other's channels, between the Diamond Effect and my side, make sure you go on the opposite platform, hit the like over there. Listen, this is what makes us be able to get out there. It shows the algorithm that we're doing something right. So I really appreciate your guys' engagement. If you're on the vertical side, hit that double tap that screen. But listen, we'll be back here in 7 days, of course, for more of the madness. Anyways, much love, honor, and respect to all of you guys. We'll see you guys here in a bit. Much love.